What's up? Nowstalgia Pod here. We're going to give you your weekly look at what's going on in pop culture. Wow, can't talk today. That's good. I'm with Dave Martinson. He just pulled the sword from the stone.
Ugh.
Or did he?
Ouch.
I don't know. We're going to be talking about a lot of things today. Master of None came out with a new season. Our man Harry Styles, Sign of the Times, released a new album. We'll be talking about that. And Dave's going to do a fun round of rapper or XXL Freshman or not a person, I guess. I don't know.
We'll see.
It'll be interesting to see how I do with that. But let's start with King Arthur, man.
Tale as old as time.
Charlie Hunnam is supposed to be on that hot streak now. Coming out with another movie. Coming up, right?
Well, Lost City Z is already out.
Lost City Z, right. He was already in that. This is
getting great remarks for his nuanced role.
So I guess this was technically his heat check, right?
Yeah.
And what a heat check it was.
Yeah, Guy Ritchie, King Arthur, Legend of the Sword.
And Guy Ritchie, too, having that Aladdin Disney.
2019, yeah.
In the chamber, so he doesn't have to worry too much.
No.
He's good.
$14.5 million, man? Fucking terrible.
Yeah, and globally it was like less than 30 million.
Not good.
Not good.
175 million production budget before marketing. So, colossal bomb. It'll be the biggest bomb of the year for sure. I mean, this is worse than Tarzan last year, worse than Ben-Hur.
But is it worse than Gods of Egypt?
Well, Gods of Egypt wasn't a remake of some old IP.
That's true.
So
that's true.
I don't know. I think it's just people have a tangential knowledge of King Arthur and what it is, but most people don't have a strong opinion on it as a cool thing to enjoy. So,
right.
You know, a movie like this that's targeted towards just a male audience, I don't think it did nearly enough to stand out. Yeah,
and Jude Law too, man. I mean, coming off the Young Pope,
playing
a very similar type dark, like
bad guy Vortigern or something.
Yeah. You know, they had a lot of really good actors in this, just didn't pan out. So don't go see King Arthur. We will not be reviewing that for this.
Plain movie.
Yeah,
I'll see it on a plane one day.
I don't even know if I want to.
I like Guy Ritchie, man. Like, he's made some great movies.
LA Confidential's an all-time, dude.
He didn't make LA Confidential.
Who is that? It's Guy Pearce, sorry.
Yeah. No. Guy Ritchie made Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrel, Snatch with Brad Pitt.
Right.
Last year, Man from U.N.C.L.E. or 2015.
Yeah, we were talking.
Vikander.
We were talking about him last year, I think, actually. So, I don't know.
And the Sherlock Holmes movies, too.
Yeah, Chris Ryan and Fancy did a podcast with him, just kind of picking his brain about it. He seemed to like the challenge of taking on a project like this, but it's hard, you know. It's
well, and here's the thing too. Not only did no one care to watch it, but the critics don't like it either. So It's just a total failure.
I know. I think it had like a 29% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah, stale, bland. It's funny. I read some reviews. It's really all over the place. The negative things that are said and the things people like. Like, I don't know.
Is that like a fun story to tell? I don't know.
I mean, in theory, Guy Ritchie's like he has like his trademark like witty, fast-paced dialogue in all of his movies. I thought that may have worked out good, but apparently it just kind of saps all the substance of the story, and it's just kind of bland. And Charlie Hunnam, despite being the lead, doesn't actually get to do much, which is a pretty crazy thing to think of.
I don't even know how
Haven't seen the movie. Yeah.
Like
he doesn't interact with many characters. I'm like, oh, if you say so.
Okay.
Doesn't sound good.
Well, why don't we move on to somebody that interacts with, I feel like, everybody. And we've interacted with him. Mr. Kanye West.
Yes.
So apparently he's in the studio. And where is that studio, Dave?
Wyoming.
It's on top of a mountain.
Ain't no mountain high enough, apparently.
Jesus, on
the
top of the mountain.
least populous state in the union.
He's like trying to go to new heights, quite literally, to create the best album he can.
Yes.
You know, this actually really does excite me, though, because My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy, like all the stories that come out of that are basically he went to Hawaii. And he brought all of his friends out there, and they just put up a sign that said, "What would Wu-Tang do?" And then they just created the best album, maybe the best rap album of the last, 10 years.
Yeah.
So I'm excited for this. I mean, what do you think he's doing up there?
Well, I mean, according to like the sources that broke the report or whatever, he's intentionally isolating himself in this like mountaintop retreat, right? And he deleted his Twitter and his Instagram. So he just doesn't want to be distracted. He doesn't want to...
Did he have an Instagram before?
He didn't use it for much besides posting his shitty fashion things.
Gotcha. I don't even know.
His Twitter obviously much more notorious.
Yeah.
It's funny too because his Twitter really evolved. Remember, it used to be very sporadically used, and then the quite opposite. He used to just go off 30-tweet rants about Wiz Khalifa.
Who has better Twitter rants, Donald Trump or Kanye West?
I don't want to answer that.
All right, moving on. I think it's Donald Trump, but
it depends how much you enjoy his rants. I think
I don't enjoy them. I just think they're better. Like Kanye's would just be like playing out some random shit. Donald Trump just is like
he's just wilding out, and then Trump is like a petulant child sometimes.
Yeah, Trump's just gonna say random stuff about like that. Moving on from politics, going back to Kanye West.
Kanye's away from the Kardashian clan. He needed some space. I guess
probably a good idea.
Yeah, whatever.
I don't know.
Get your money.
Yeah, it's funny because so every time Kanye's like away from them, I feel like something happens that pulls him back to them. It's just kind of like the way that family works is that they always are involved in drama. So on the next season of the Kardashians, whenever it comes back, Kanye will probably be coming down from the mountain.
Well, I think he's on right. It's on right now, and he's not on this season.
Oh, so it did come back.
Yeah.
Because I know it had been on a little bit of hiatus after it came.
What are the odds that this album is still called TurboGrafx 16?
Zero.
100% zero.
It's gonna be some like crazy like religious type stuff. I think like he's like probably thinking about himself as like Moses on top of the mountain, like talking to God in some way right
I'm
now.
down with that.
Yeah, this is gonna be a wild album. I'm excited for it.
I don't expect it till next year at the earliest. He doesn't rush albums.
He doesn't rush albums, but he also is going through like that manic phase when he released, when he released Pablo, something like that. He was definitely something was going on. But he had the whole like thing a couple months later when he had to go to the hospital and.
Oh yeah, with the mental health thing. Yeah, exactly. I think his attitude about this recording, from the limited things we know, suggests that he's in a better spot and he is putting himself in the best spot creatively to get good work in. So that's what I'd assume.
It's kind of a related question, kind of not. Do you think Jay-Z will be releasing a new album soon?
Yes.
I think so too.
Yes.
I think by the end of the year.
Made in America and Meadows' performances are within a month of each other.
Mm-hmm. I think around that time he'll be dropping something.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. I don't want the album. He hasn't released that many good albums in a while, so.
Will it be a response to Lemonade?
No.
I didn't actually think that was a real thing, but there was a rumor back when Lemonade dropped that Jay-Z was going to then release an album to respond to it.
Oh yeah, so the strategy, they're all smarter than us. No, that's not how it is. Yeah, I don't think those two work that well creatively, to be honest.
Shit. Dynasty sign. Well, someone that released an album last year, and he dropped a show last year, he's going to be dropping a new show, Donald Glover.
Yeah.
Him and his brother are going to be co-creating a Deadpool.
The Polymath.
Animated show.
For FXX. Staying in the FX family after Atlanta.
10 episodes.
Yeah, right to series order for next year.
What do you think of this move? It's a really interesting decision.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't remember this, but FX head John Landgraf had said last year that they were going to have FXX aggressively target animated series and animation designed for adults. So Deadpool, obviously the film was R-rated. Comic book origins, very wisecracky adult content, makes sense for that, right?
Yeah.
Donald Glover helming it, yeah, I mean, I wouldn't have expected it, but given his recent run of all success and no failure, why not, right? He has a good relationship with FX, so why not?
Yeah, well, FX already has Archer, so
and Archer's been renewed for a few more seasons too.
Yeah, that show's a juggernaut.
Right. They want more. They want to build around Archer. I think that's the idea.
Yeah, and it's funny, like thinking about the evolution of like cartoons, because I feel like The Simpsons was a really smart, witty comedy, and obviously it's the longest running show on TV at this point. But then it goes into something like Family Guy, which just takes like the next level, stuff, like raunchier. But now it's like moving, I feel like, to like a much more niche, but like almost like a smarter,
like Bob's Burgers.
Yeah, like Bob's Burgers, Rick and Morty.
Yep.
Like
definitely.
Archer, I even think is an incredibly smart show. He just randomly, Sean McKenna, a friend of the pod, turned me on to this. He'll just drop random lines from like classic novels. Like if you go through, there's actually a whole like web page about it. Pretty cool. So yeah, I think this is a great move actually, because he just wants to do basically whatever. And I mean, if you're FX, why not just throw him the keys and say, "Do your thing, man."
Yeah. I mean,
awesome.
He's already in the Marvel family. He'll be in Spider-Man Homecoming in July.
That's true.
Deadpool 2 will be dropping next year, I believe, as well.
Do we know what he's doing in?
Perhaps.
I can't remember. Do we know what he's doing in Spider-Man?
It's not really clear now.
I don't think it's been like.
I don't think it's a major role for anything of consequence. He's not in any of the trailers.
Right. That'll be interesting. Moving on to somebody else that kind of doing something interesting, Harry Styles. So we talked about the Sign of the Times, and
see the video for that?
I didn't. You said it was pretty awesome.
He's literally flying around. It's pretty cool.
Is this like Kanye and like Bound 2 when it's just like the green screen in the background?
No, it's not a green screen. He was on like wires and being like flown in the air, so it looks very realistic. Really cool. He's just like in a field on like the cliffs of England or something by the ocean. I don't know where it was. And he's
Cake
just,
by the ocean, dude.
Yeah, doing some shit. Pretty cool.
Did you get a chance to listen to this album?
I listened to a few of the songs.
I listened to it straight through because I was like, you know what, I'm gonna see how it starts. Actually, not better than I thought.
Is he the new Mick Jagger? Is he millennial David Bowie?
I don't know about millennial David Bowie. I don't know about Mick Jagger. Those are high benchmarks.
They called him like the new Mick Jagger as soon as he's on X Factor.
Wait, because he looks kind of like
exactly.
I mean, it's not like he actually has the same musical stylings. Right. He does. This album does surprise me with the sound because it does go in a more. How many times am I gonna say does? It goes in a direction of like soft rock from like the 60s and 70s, kind of like acoustic guitar driven with some pianos in there, you know, some soft drums. It's not anything crazy. There's one song called Woman that really stands out. It's like super corny, and I was just like, all right, Harry, like tone it down just a little bit. But you can't blame him for trying, and especially coming from a band like One Direction to go in this direction, for lack of a better term, is actually very admirable. And
yeah, I think so.
It makes me feel hopeful that he actually will make like meaningful like music moving forward.
I think the interesting thing about me for Harry Styles, just as the person, is that he's not really like concerned with his celebrity so much. He's kind of a private guy, and like there's like the stories about how he's like he dates older women and stuff, and just keeps to himself. And now he's making a soft rock record that doesn't really fit the sound of today, you know. Yeah. Whereas his contemporary Zayn, of course, made a very modern sounding radio friendly pop album.
To his base though, he's untouchable. But
of course,
I think it's great that he's using that to like do whatever the F he wants. Like, he doesn't feel like he needs to keep like be like self-serving anymore.
And also, I think it's a great opportunity for him too, because is this not the only rock record of substance in any rotation right now? The only other rock music that's played right now is what, Imagine Dragons.
Gorillaz came out last week.
As you count that as rock though, like real rock, you know? Because if you go to the Billboard chart for the top rock songs, it's like pathetic how unrock it really is. Like, yeah, you still have like
let's see,
like Sucker for Pain from the Suicide Squad soundtrack is still in the top 10.
Well, like what, Sylvan Esso was like indie rock. They released an album too, but I guess it actually goes back to an interesting question: is like, do the charts matter?
Right.
Like if the best rock song out right now probably is The National or Fleet Foxes. Sorry, not Fleetwood Foxes.
Last thing in those songs don't chart very well.
Right.
Which
exactly.
kind of goes up, you know, tributes to rock in general.
Or LCD Sound System, even like their two new songs probably are better than anything that's on this album. It's
right. And they're probably, I don't even think those were released to radio.
But yeah, that's actually a good point. Like, because we know like Haim's coming out in July, Phoenix coming out next month. Like he put it right at a time when there's like a lull. So yeah, that's pretty smart, Harry. Good job, kid. What about Paramore, man? You were riding hard for Hard Times.
Dude, that song's awesome.
All about those.
It's a great pop song.
Well, I just don't know how I feel about like the chorus when it's like Hard Times. It's like a monster voice or something. It's like a weird sound, like distortion.
Yeah,
but
it's interesting.
You definitely listened to After Laughter, the new album.
Yeah, I did.
Which is what, the first one in 4 years? 2013?
Yeah, their fifth album?
Yeah.
Yeah, but first in a few years. And it's kind of the culmination of their transition from emo pop-punk band to pop band.
Like, 80s pop band?
Yeah.
Sounds
throwback sound. Yeah, I think it's pretty, it's just really fun, cheery listen. And that's not to say that it has inconsequential lyrics. It definitely talks about some things like the lead single, the first song on the track list, Hard Times, is about kind of like the evolution of the band, where they went personally.
Yeah. Well, the whole album's pretty personal.
Yeah.
I mean, even No Friend. That was the one that had the dude from Me Without You, Aaron Weiss. And apparently, you can't really make out the words of that song, but apparently it's just about like the whole history of the band and like how people came together, came apart. I didn't know this. Haley Williams dated like the lead guitarist, and they like had a bad breakup, and that's why the band went on hiatus at points.
There's so many members in and out of this band. It was really just
Haley Williams.
It was not really a band. It was Haley Williams needed people to be around her because they wanted to present it as a band for marketing.
I'm surprised she didn't
10 years ago.
solo. I think there was always talk about it. She just never.
She's
did.
only 28 too. She started really young.
You say only 28, but
I mean, but given how long she's been in the game.
Word. Yeah, no, that's true. Just to bring it back to the album and focus it a little bit more, I thought the last 3 songs were actually pretty ambitious because they did something that I don't think you would hear on most Paramore albums. Whereas like the middle, even though it's definitely a different sound, way more poppy and just kind of saying like this is who we are now.
Right.
I still think it could have fit on other albums and not like been weird. If you know what I mean? Like 26 or like Fake Happy or even like Grudges, which Grudges is a great song.
Yeah, I think
I'd ride for that.
I think that middle run of songs is really really good, really strong.
Definitely. Honestly, I didn't think there was like a really bad song on the album.
I mean, it seems like they're not like leading with a new sound as so much as they kind of just evolved as a quote group and just tackled a new sound that was already out there and just played to that to good effect.
And they released a tour schedule, so this fall if you want to see Paramore,
they back.
Yeah, they're back. So I wanted to hit you with this conspiracy theory because as I was listening to Paramore today, I was thinking about I saw this was blowing up my Twitter yesterday. There's a conspiracy theory, going around that Avril Lavigne died after her second album, and it has been replaced by a body double since then. And the evidence for it kind of compelling.
So I saw that Avril Lavigne trend, and I scrolled down a lot, and I still couldn't quite figure out what was going on, so I gave up.
So apparently, like one of her albums, there's like a lot of there's a lot of lyrics that talk about suicide or people not being there or her not being like me, and apparently the rumor goes that she did hire a body double at one point to like
some MF Doom shit.
Yeah, nice. To like deal with paparazzi because she didn't want to be in the spotlight that much, but that she killed herself after the second album, and they taught this body double how to sing. It's so ridiculous.
Did she have any socials? Has she said anything by now?
She hasn't addressed it. And apparently there's an interview from like back in 2010 when someone brought this conspiracy theory up to her, and she just like got like all flustered and like very upset, but didn't like say anything.
How did this just come to the top now? Was this like a Reddit thing?
It literally was this one girl.
But how does it start?
This one girl.
Like anything else on the internet, but
yeah, her Twitter was like chai ass or something like that. Just like was like, oh, I want to just post this idea I have, and it just blew up on Twitter.
It's like whoever figured out the Kendrick second album theory.
Right. Exactly.
Someone just
way too much time in their hands.
Yeah.
To like go through old Avril Lavigne like songs and compare them.
There was that, I think it was maybe Paramore's third album, came out the same year as one of Avril Lavigne's really good albums, and that was back when they were making similar sounding music.
Right.
But Avril Lavigne, she hasn't been around in a few years.
Well, that's what got me thinking about her was Hayley Williams, kind of like the princess of pop punk, but was Avril Lavigne.
Definitely,
crazy.
Yeah.
Do you think Paul McCartney actually died and they replaced him with body double? Because he's the original to this.
No. He's going to be in Pirates 5, apparently. Just tweeted a picture of himself in it, yeah.
I have to go see it now. Do love Paul McCartney.
I mean, Keith Richards was Jack's dad in 3.
That's true. This is also a side note, I forgot to bring this up. Harry Styles, I was looking at how much his tickets cost to go to his show at Radio City Music Hall in September.
Oh, yeah?
$600 for the cheapest one.
Was that resale?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, obviously it wasn't $600 originally, but the fact that there's $600 for resale for one ticket.
Kendrick's tickets in Barclays are out of this world expensive. I
can imagine probably like $300 at this point. Crazy.
But that was MSRP.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, for the lower level. The very top of Barclays was like $150.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Yeah, that's really disappointing, actually.
Yeah.
I mean, like, who really can afford that?
And that's the thing, because half of it sold out before it even went on sale to the public, so they just let the bots take it over anyway.
Come on, artists.
That's that Interscope push, man. The machine.
Well, Dave, XXL Freshmen came out.
No, it didn't come out.
Didn't come out.
That's what we're talking about now, because...
Oh, you want to talk about who's going to be on it?
Yeah, the cover will be the June cover.
Kodak Black? Was he on it last year?
So, to review... Well, Pat, share with the world, what is the XXL cover? You found about this last year when we did a previous episode at Soundcloud.com/Nostalgia Pod.
It's like the best up-and-coming rappers as anointed by XXL Magazine.
Correct. To be eligible, you cannot have a commercial major label album yet.
Gotcha.
So if you have an independent album, that technically you're still eligible.
So is Chance the Rapper on there?
Well, no, Chance got on like 4 years ago.
Oh. Well,
but if he wasn't selected before for some stupid reason, he technically would be eligible because he's never had a major league album.
Just ridiculous. All right.
But generally speaking, that's a good criteria.
Right.
And last year, I think was actually a really strong list, and a lot of these guys are still very relevant and very, buzzworthy. Lil Uzi Vert, Lil Yachty, Kodak Black, Designer, 21 Savage, Denzel Curry, Anderson .Paak, Lil Dicky, as well as G Herbo from Chicago and Dave East from New York City. So that was a very strong list. A lot of SoundCloud rappers on there, as the SoundCloud rappers have bubbled to the top. And this year,
I know even less people this year, dude.
So I thought, this year will be like a step back, kind of like 2015, where definitely good people to pick, but maybe not as many mainstream people. But then as I was making the list, I'm like, actually, no. I mean, all the people that I have down that I think need to get in have hella hits. Like, there's a lot of hits on this. So can you think of anyone off the top that you think would be in? I know it's a tough question. And you'll definitely recognize some of these people when I mention their hit song.
Let's see. I'm trying to think of who, because I feel like everybody I'm going to think of was last year. Like,
yeah.
I thought Kodak Black. Oh wait, what about that guy? T Grizzly.
T Grizzly.
Yes.
So T Grizzly, I have T Grizzly on my like honorable mentions list because I think he's just too new. He has maybe like one tape and these 2 buzzworthy songs.
Okay.
So he's a guy that, depending on how he does over the next year, will put himself in a good position. Because the XXL list, XXL Mag just does like hip hop news. It's a good website, good Twitter in general. But this freshman list, which they've been doing since 2008, I believe, it's kind of been set for the hip hop community as like that. This is like the community co-signs you as like you're up next. And this is a great chance for you to really take over and become a star, and puts people on you if they weren't aware of you anyway. So it's a great look, but also it is taken seriously.
Yeah, I can't really think of. I mean, I don't listen to a lot of rap. Like I've said in the past, I'm trying to think. I keep any hints.
So we talked about disappointing, long-awaited debut mixtape from this guy a few weeks ago. Remember, I had you listen to one song with Uzi, and you weren't a fan. No, it was pretty underwhelming. Playboi Carti.
Oh, Playboi. See him and Lil Uzi Vert and like. Any littles, all like kind of
any littles
together. I don't know.
The SoundCloud rappers.
Yeah, basically. What about like this is probably totally ignorant. Like Danny Brown, people like them. Are they new?
Danny Brown's already been on. Yeah.
He's been on. Okay. Yeah, I can't really think of any others. So Playboi Carti, that makes sense.
Yeah, and Playboi Carti actually, the song Magnolia from that tape is like really big right now. So I think he definitely got himself in because having a hit, having the buzz, and he has the cosign from the ASAP Mob. That's kind of the trifecta. He's a guarantee at this point. Keeping going, the hits. Remember that song Caroline? Caroline.
Sweet Caroline?
She's my baby.
Oh, I think that was Neil Diamond, right?
Yeah, Neil Diamond.
Neil Diamond.
Also known as Amin from Portland, Oregon. That song, that's a platinum hit. So he's going to get on, I think.
Platinum hit. Wow,
yeah.
That's crazy.
Speaking of hits, do you remember Uber Everywhere?
Yeah.
Of course. Made in Tokyo. He's going to get on.
Ah, there you go. Yeah. Nice. Literally would never name these people. I don't even think these are real names.
Do you remember Young M.A.? Ooh. that song's double platinum. She's getting on. Putting on for New York.
There wasn't a girl on there last year, was there?
No.
That's good.
And they thought before that they don't necessarily try and get a white rapper in or try and get a female rapper in. They just want to pick the best people.
Right.
So it depends year to year. But I think there will be women on here. No Name from Chicago.
Oh, yeah. I remember him.
She has the Chance the Rapper cosign. Her song Diddy Bop was on my top 10 songs list for 2016. She has a critically acclaimed mixtape, Telephone, so I think that'll get her on. She has like the clout side of it. How about Kyle? I Spy?
No.
Certified hit, though, so I think he gets on.
Kyle? You have Playboi Carti and Kyle on there? Is it at least spelled different?
No, it's just Kyle. It's a shitty name. Vince Staples tweeted about him, making fun of him a few years ago.
Yeah, like, what?
He's like, we got rappers out here named Kyle? What?
Jesus.
He seems like a really genuine guy though in the interviews. So
I mean,
I root for him.
No doubt he's genuine as fuck. He just uses his first name. He's like, I don't need a different name. Just Kyle.
Also, Kamaya from Oakland. She was on YG's album.
Kamaya from Oakland.
Why You Always Hatin', the song with Drake.
Please,
she does the hook.
Please tell me why you always
Yes, that's her.
Nice.
And her debut mixtape, A Good Life in the Ghetto, was quickly acclaimed.
There's a lot of girls on this list.
Yeah. Well, I think...
that you think will be on.
So I think she's getting in, and I think No Name should get in. Perhaps Cardi B gets in. She's like this New York rapper. She was on the Love and Hip Hop show, and she used to be like a stripper, I think. I don't like her music at all, but she just got a BET Award nomination, so maybe she sneaks in. Probably not, though.
Well, good for her getting off the pole, then.
Yeah, right. Perhaps Nav gets in. He has that Weekend co-sign. He had that mixtape dropped.
Yeah, I listened to his album. It's pretty good.
Yeah, it's cool.
I'm down with that one.
He's got a mixtape with Metro Boomin on deck, apparently. Because he's the producer first before he became a rapper, so we'll see about that. Just to finish it off, A Boogie with the Hoodie, which is his name.
That's not real.
He has a Drake co-sign. He has a gold single. He probably get on. He has some buzz. He has a song with Kodak right now. Interesting thing here. So, do you remember Drake's song KMT from More Life? It was one of the songs with Gigs.
I do not.
Well, this is a song where Drake was accused.
Wait, that was the one where Gigs had like the really corny line, right?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. I do remember that.
Drake was accused of stealing a young SoundCloud rapper's flow on this.
Stealing his flow?
Yeah.
Like just his cadence?
Yeah, well, he was basically stealing...
that's like the whitest thing that's ever been said, by the way. His flow? You mean his cadence, good sir?
XXX Tentacion is this guy's name. I showed you the picture of him at Rolling Loud. He was the guy that was looking like Super Boo, or Kid Boo from Dragon Ball Z in the crowd. Remember that picture?
Yeah.
It's this guy. The fans love him. He sounds just like Uzi Vert, but not as good in my opinion. But the fans fucking love this dude.
Yeah, dude.
He's got hella buzz.
Goku.
That song, Look at Me. Yeah, dude. That's a crazy picture.
That is a crazy picture.
He's from Florida. So I think he'll get off with a buzz. Interesting thing, though. Rob Stone, his song Chill Bill with the whistle, the do. Yeah, that song's platinum. That song was undeniable, right? But him and X, which is what they call him colloquially, of course, it's easier to say than XXS Tentacion, which is a fucking terrible name. Him and X have hella beef from like this trait. So I don't know, from a tour thing. So I don't know if they would pick both these guys to have them be on a cover because they wouldn't want to bring all those people together and have their entourages fight at their offices.
I guess.
So maybe Rob Stone gets booted from this. I don't know. We'll see.
Interesting.
So those are the people I think will probably get on. Perhaps Jazz Cartier from Toronto. He gets like how Dave East got on last year wasn't like really big like Yachty or anything, but he had like a body of work, got underground support. Jazz Cartier's probably in that boat. Also, I just want to do you think this is a rapper name? Ski Mask the Slump God.
I mean, it shouldn't be, but if you wouldn't come up with that by yourself.
What about Ugly God?
That's not one.
What about Russ?
Yeah, Kyle and Russ, man.
Russ.
They're gonna
There's a guy named
collab
Russ
all the time, no doubt.
You know who wasn't on XXL's finalists? There's like they put out like a list of like 70 people you can vote for. Mm-hmm. Rich Chiga wasn't on here.
Oh,
he's the Asian fellow that got the mariachi band for Post Malone.
Yeah, dude, that was a hilarious
that was really funny.
video. Post Malone, he has the stupidest hair though. Can I just say that?
He's an ugly dude.
He is an ugly dude, but he just makes it so much worse.
Yeah, his bangs look really, really terrible.
Bangs? And he's got like the weird. I don't even know what he's doing.
Not about it.
Not about that. Oh, we're about to move on to some TV, and before we do, I wanted to update all of our fans. First of all, Dave, thank you for that excellent XXL preview.
Yeah, we'll see how it does.
I could never have even guessed half those names.
Gotta stay woke.
Game of Thrones spinoffs.
Yeah,
there's gonna be 5 now.
Yeah,
George R.R. in typical George R.R. fashion, just expanding more and more and more.
Did you see what else he said?
He also said, they're all gonna be prequels, and that they're also they're called like support shows or something. Like that.
He doesn't like the term spinoff. I prefer a successor show.
Successor show. That's what it is.
Fuck out of here. Also, he said they're not gonna do Robert's Rebellion because by the time I'm finished with my books, I'll have told everything there is to tell about Robert's Rebellion. So he doesn't want the show to catch up.
He's going to die before those books are done, and we're never going to get Robert's Rebellion.
Exactly.
Stupid.
So he said no Robert's Rebellion, no Dunk and Egg. And I'm like, all right, well, what the fuck are they going to do now? That was the clear, easy choice for the first one. Whatever.
He doesn't want the layups, man. He wants the 28-footers.
Yeah, finish damn book. Oh man.
Master of None, season 2.
Aziz Ansari, Alan Yang, Emmy Award winners last year for outstanding writing in a comedy series for the excellent episode Parents.
Yeah, and I can't remember. Did we talk about it? I think it came out in 2015.
We were not a podcast then.
So, yeah,
it was a few months before we started.
It's crazy how long ago that was.
Yeah.
And it's been 18 months.
They had 3 other Emmy nominations too.
It's nuts.
Critical acclaim for the season 1.
It was very good. What did you think about? I know you watched this first season, but what did you think about the time off? Because usually with
that 18 months.
Yeah, about 18 months. With a show like this, especially with a upstart brand like Netflix, you would think they would want to be like, hey, you want an Emmy? Let's get this out. Let's get this out here pretty quickly.
Well, actually, I don't think Netflix really cares about that. You know, they their whole content strategy involves getting tons of talent and just giving them the freedom via the money to, hey, you make what you want, and we're not gonna make you adjust to our release schedule. We'll just accommodate you, because they already have their juggernauts that are more scheduled, like House of Cards, like Orange is the New Black. So a Master of None, where it's 2 auteur-driven guys like Yang and Aziz Ansari, Netflix doesn't want to pressure them to crank it out, because those guys just won't do another season if they don't want to.
That's true. They do want.
It's a great relationship.
They do want the awards though.
Yeah.
Very badly, because the push they're making for these high-profile movies are pretty ridiculous.
Well, exactly. They want the Oscars because they've been striking out on those. They've been doing better in the Emmys.
Well, this season, I mean, at the end of last season, they showed Dev on a plane. You're not sure if he's going to Japan to follow his girlfriend or Italy for the adventure that he always wanted. Ends up he's going to Italy.
That pasta.
Yeah, he's trying to eat, man. And that's a central part of the season is his trip. And just kind of food is a big part of this, which if you know anything about Aziz Ansari, just makes sense because dude loves food.
He made the trip in real life. He did this very thing in the off time.
It's almost like he just wanted to go on this trip, and he's like, "Oh, let's write this into my show and give me an excuse to do this," which he obviously didn't need.
That's the cool thing about Aziz too, is because he's 34. One of the most successful stand-up comics. I mean, he sold out MSG multiple times.
Do you think he's a really good stand-up?
I like his stand-ups. And he's dominated his tours.
It's funny. I feel like I don't think his stand-ups are anything in particular special. I don't think I would ever search out an Aziz one. But he's always just kind of Aziz is cute. He's fun.
I think he has some of the best millennial humor, modern humor, just because he's one of the younger stand-up comedians talking about it.
Right.
In terms of guys with a high platform. So I like the way he handles that.
I think one of the things that turns me off about Aziz is he has some of the things he falls back on are him just doing screaming things no and stuff like that, which it's funny, but after when that becomes a running gag, it's all right, give me some more sustenance.
The one I always remember is he's talking about ghosts now, and it's if you get haunted, it's boo, what's the Wi-Fi?
It was actually reminiscent of a joke he does on this season, but this is gonna be spoiler free. You don't need to fast forward at all or turn this off. I binged the whole show already.
Fuck, really?
Yeah.
It came out Friday.
I know.
When did you finish it?
I had a lot of time on Friday night.
10 hours?
No. So
that's what you were doing Friday night.
I didn't watch it all in one sitting. Right. I watched it about half and half. And to be honest, I just really kind of got into it and couldn't stop.
Well, that's good, I guess.
Yeah, it was.
I purposely slowed myself down for season 1 because I was liking it so much that I wanted to spread it around.
Yeah, and I've already told myself I'm going to go back and watch it again because I'm sure that there's a lot of stuff I missed. The thing that stands out to me about this season is that it kind of does something Atlanta does, where it gives a basic overall theme to pull the storyline along throughout the season. But basically, then they're okay, well, we're gonna stop here, and then we're gonna go in this direction.
We can we'll pick up some plot, put it down here, focus on these people.
Yeah. And it actually has a very Louis mixed with Atlanta type feel, where it can go off in those different directions, have these crazy stories, but then it also kind of zeroes in on human problems and what's going on, which I really think makes the show very unique and fresh in that way. Yeah,
well, it's cool because the vibe of Master of None can change from romantic to comedy to indie film, some combination of the three. It just depends episode to episode. There's a piece in The Ringer about how Master of None kind of preserves the idea of the episode in a world where, you know, Game of Thrones and Fargo and stuff, it's still a 10-hour movie, you know, shit. And no, Master of None clearly, in Atlanta as well, the identity of the episode and what you can do by, you know, changing things 30 minutes at a time. Yeah. It's really cool.
And, you know, to use the metaphor of cooking, they really did let them just cook. They're like, you make whatever you want, we'll serve it up. And they try so many different things in this season.
Aziz did some directing in this season, right?
And so did his tall friend there, his Eric Warenheim.
He's hilarious.
It's just funny seeing them together, and like the characters they play. I don't think they're necessarily like fantastic acting, but I think they do a really good job for like not really having like formal training. Like Aziz has been in shows, but he always plays kind of the same character, just like a goofy dude. And he does a really pretty good job of like getting through some really emotional, like serious acting.
They get Angela Bassett to be Denise's mom this season, which is a good get for them.
Yeah, that episode was.
You know who's great acting? Speaking of not formal training, Aziz Ansari's parents.
No, okay, so they're not good at acting. They're just like super charming by being themselves.
But it's good enough. Yeah, like in season 1.
Yeah,
Aziz's dad in particularly was great.
Yeah, his dad. The episode he's in this season. I mean, obviously. He's not a great actor, but he just comes across so likable. It's like
it's funny.
Yeah, it is funny. One of the things I think that stood out to me about this season was just how they use so many different types of like vehicles for storytelling. Like one episode pretty much takes place all in his friend Denise's house over a series of decades. And like it centers around Thanksgiving every year, and it's about how she comes out to her family, and it's super awesome.
Yeah,
just the way that they kind of show it and use that. So that's just one example. I don't want to spoil anything else for anybody in the season. The standout person to me though is Alessandra Mastronardi, who is Francesca, which you see her in episode 1.
Oh, the Italian girl?
Yeah, the Italian girl. She shows up a couple times throughout the season, and she's phenomenal. She really, I think, is like the perfect person to be alongside Aziz on this, which just funny that they were able to find this person who looks so much like the old-fashioned films, like women you would see in these old-fashioned films, and like bring her into like a more modern, updated thing while like kind of keep this like auteur going is kind of strange.
Yeah.
Like, very good casting, so...
it's an exciting show.
Yeah, as you're thinking about this season, like I know that you've read about it and stuff, but like, what are you most excited for? Because I know you saw the first season, you really liked it. You haven't gotten through the season like I have.
I've just seen episode 1 of season 2.
What are you excited for?
Well, yeah, just because I know it's so experimental and it does so many different things, I just want to see what that actually entails. You know, like how far they go with it. You know, listening to Aziz do some press about it. You know, the attitude him and Alan Yang have about the show, it's that they don't want to just force it out. They certainly didn't want to make a cookie cutter replica of season 1.
Right.
They wanted to do something different, and even Alan Yang was saying now, it's like, we'll do season 3 if we want to do it. I mean, they clearly have not thought about it at all because they're just so focused on making season 2 worthwhile and so great. So I really want to see what that actually entails.
Yeah, there's and like I said, they definitely do a lot of things. I think that's exactly like the main thing to be excited for. Another thing I think you should be excited for is just how they play with like sound, because they really like use music and also just like the sounds of like the city or like lack thereof to like really get across a lot of points in the season. That I would say like keep your ear out for that if you're watching the season. Like they use that really well to create
episode 1 being black and white was an awesome touch too.
Yeah, definitely.
Just him in just one setting in this Italian city, you know. And then I heard the penultimate episode is 57 minutes, a double episode basically, which has enhanced meaning because the rest of the season is all 30 minutes.
Right.
So when you actually do have that longer runtime, it really stands out.
Yeah. As
opposed to like other prestige shows where they regularly have 55-minute episodes all the time.
Yeah, I didn't realize it was 57 minutes long, and I got like halfway through and I was like, this should be over by now.
Yeah. Like the arc doesn't seem like it's progressed far enough. This is strange.
This episode seems off. But yeah, definitely we'll be checking back in maybe after you finish just to get some like final thoughts from you, see if anything stood out.
Do you have a favorite episode of season 1?
Probably the Parents episode.
I mean, there's a lot of good ones.
Yeah, I think the Parents
Indians
episode,
on TV.
Or when he goes to Nashville. Like the Nashville episode. Just because like the way that they create like the feeling of Nashville through it is like really cool, and then like seeing her like Dev and Rachel interact in that way is nice.
The last episode, 2 Mornings, really shows like the experimental side too, because it was so unlike the rest of the season.
Yeah, and they just keep it focused on like the mornings.
And how the relationship like crescendos basically.
Yeah, they use a lot of really interesting like angles to like tell these stories, which I think is,
and it's really cool too, because this is the first show Aziz and Alan Yang have ever made. Alan Yang wrote for Parks. Aziz was previously just a on-screen talent, an actor, as well as a stand-up guy. So it's really cool to see how far people can go with their first. This shows how artistic these people are.
Yeah, Aziz I think said he doesn't want to come back till he's had way different life experiences. So
yeah, well that's the thing Alan Yang said too. He was like, yeah, well, we needed enough time. It was like on the 18 months. Like, yeah, we needed enough time so that we didn't just go into season 2 having just done press for season 1.
Right.
Like
we had something to talk about.
So yeah, I would expect if they do a season 3, if they're up for it, it'd probably be more than the 18 months, because Aziz would probably consider doing a stand-up run or something, or he's written a book. He's done so much stuff, and
I could see them going for something. Like them working together on like something different, whether it's a different show or like an animated thing, like especially. I just think they I don't think we'll see Master of None for a couple of years. Just because.
Well, I think imagine if Master of None does end after 2 acclaimed seasons. I mean,
they leave it at a pretty open ended. It's
just like season 1. Really,
it's an ending, but like they don't give everything away. There's no like closure to it. We'll talk about it when it comes. This has been episode 63.
Yeah,
63.
6 weeks.
Nostalgia pod.
The magic number.
We'll be giving you some different kind of pods coming up. We want to try something different for you all. So check in on our Twitter at Nowstalgia Pod to stay up to date on the latest news. That's where we'll be updating it.
Facts.
Follow Dave at Martin Swagger for some terrible Yankee takes. No Pact for Derek Jeter. From me at my Twitter at Sheeney World Peace.
For Forgive with the 13. Rayrod.
Terrible. When is he gonna get his number retired?
Not happening.
Ugh. I wish they would. That'd just be hilarious. Anyways, please subscribe on iTunes. Follow us on SoundCloud at soundcloud.com/nostalgiapod. And if you go there, you can go check us out on YouTube as well.
Subscribe right here. Little box right here.
Wow. Look at that. That's some like future shit right there.
Yeah,
and give us a review too if you like us.
Like what you hear. And
yeah, we love you guys. We'll check in with you next week.